Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Gulfstream Park West today. And this is the big information. Fast and firm. We are finally back on the turf. We've been dodging raindrops for weeks and weeks, and there you see the turf course will be in full use this afternoon. Boy, if you lived here in South Florida, you know what we've been through as far as the rain goes, but that is in the past. This is in the future, and that is today and the rest of the meet, we hope, on the turf course, which is always the best racing here at Gulfstream Park West. With that said, we're starting the week with a really nice jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six of $200,000. That's races 3 to 8 today, so you get a chance to take it down, and it's really fun that we got some turf racing cursed between the races there. So that is the Rainbow Six this afternoon, as I mentioned at the top. Fast main track, firm turf course this afternoon. Let's take a look at my early pick 5 ticket, and I got a $36 ticket, and I did go 3 deep in the opening leg here with the number 5 Platinum Sense. The current tepid 3-1 favorite early in the wagering is the 2 matcher, and I used the 8 Twinkies and Turnips. In race number 2, I used 2 horses in there. Play Era, well, I'm going to show you a video about. That's the 6, and 2 Dem a Wonder. Third race 3 deep in there. That is a really nice turf race. I did go with the Mighty Judge, Rule Yourself, and Cash Call Kitten in there. And then in race number 4, 2 deep with Awesome Beach for Ralph Nix, and the number 2 Emmett, who was chasing really fast fractions last time out. And in race number 5, that I'm going to use Friendly Fella, who's a consistent son of Hear No Evil, and the number 4 Tamer in my ticket for $36. And that is how I see the earlier situation there. I'm going to start it off in here, as I mentioned, when I was talking about my early pick 5 ticket with the 5 Platinum Cents. And I'll tell you why. This one was beaten the nose by a repeat winner called Better Than Your Ex at this level and distance on the turf. Now, that was back in July. This one's going to drop, return to the grass after showing speed against Better in a pair of rained-out affairs on the main track. So this one been trying to get back on the turf. So I'm keen off that performance in July. The trainer is Armando de la Cerda. And you got Edgar Zayas in the saddle today. And Edgar's still in the lead in the jockey training standings, getting a little closer in there. The horse that I mentioned, that's the current tepid 3-1 favorite, is the 2 matcher, who should be primed and ready to offer more today after returning from the layoffs to finish that late closing second here at this level and distance, and that was on the turf. Trainer Kent Sweezy having a really nice fall campaign here at Gulfstream Park West. He's got Sammy Camacho atop this lightly raced 5-year-old daughter of Macho Uno. So this one, I think, is going to sit the trip behind the speed today. It's going to be really interesting to see how the turf course plays out. They haven't been on it in at least, I think, over a week or so. So we'll see how this race plays out, how the bias plays out, if there is none, or if it's just a fair turf course, which I am expecting it will be today. The other horse I used on my ticket is currently 6-1 is Twinkies and Turnips, who's going back to the turf this afternoon after a positive step forward when finishing that improved third. That was a race moving the turf to the dirt last time out for Larry Bates. Luca Panici's up. A horse that I think is going to take some money, who I didn't use, the number 10, Mia Solomia. I left off my ticket for Jorge Delgado, but talk more about that when when we look at the first race this afternoon. But 5, 2, 8, and 6 for me in race number 1. Going to go to the main track, a fast main track for race number 2, and it's a 6.5 furlong sprint. These are maiden special weight of state-bred fillies, 2-year-olds. And as I mentioned, I went with the number 6 horse in here, Play Era, who will face the state-bred competition at 6.5 furlongs. I thought this horse had a game outing against $50,000 open maidens. I want to go back and show you this race from the top of the stretch. You'll see this horse. There it is, the number 5 Play Era, just looking for some racing room, just waiting for that opening to happen, turning for home. And you'll see there's the space on the inside, going to try and make that move. She comes up, and I really like the finish of this race. She still hasn't done whether to go, outside or inside. She decides to go inside, and she's going to be part of a 3-horse blanket finish there. A little bit of tight quarters, but I just thought she was game the way she ran. So I'm keen off that performance. He was right there on the inside. So I thought it was a good performance. Maybe if she gets a little more room first at the top of the stretch and gets to go inside without having to decide whether to go in and out, wins that particular race. So I thought it was a good performance. The other horse, a couple other horses I'm going to talk about in here, or at least two, is the two Demo Wonder, who's hoping to keep a straight course at 6.5 furlongs. You look at this horse, drifted out late in both recent races against this level of competition, going 3/4 of a mile. It's our leading trainer, Rohan Crichton. You got Christian Torres in the saddle this afternoon. I just thought maybe with this horse, tends to drift a little bit. Maybe I can beat it with the 6-play arrow, who's going to be an okay price and probably second choice in race number 2. And one other horse we'll touch on is the 5, the Uncaptured Lady, who's the daughter of Uncaptured, debuting for Kathleen O'Connell. Barn looking to make a winning statement at first asking with this horse. Edgar Zayas hops aboard, and boy, Kathleen has just been going good. She's had a really good last week and a couple of days before that, so she's going good. First-time starter from that barn. So 6, 2, and 5 for me, and we're going to take a short break, and when I come back, I will show you my Rainbow Six ticket this afternoon, and we'll see you right then.
In the 2-path. Ground off her inside. Race. A 1/4 mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream Park West today. I jumped the gun a little bit there on the intro. And third race, our first turf race in a while, is going to kick off the Rainbow Six, a mile into 16th on the turf. Claimers, 3-year-olds and up, $10,000 is the claiming price in there. We do have a couple of scratches of the 2, 13 and 14, and the number 2 is my long shot today. Not going to run, but I still put a Rainbow Six ticket together, and it is $48.60, and 3 deep in here with the Mighty Judge, Rule Yourself, and Cash Call Kitten. In race number 4, went 3 deep again. I have a couple of horses that I used in my early pick 5 with Awesome Beachman. Emmett, as I mentioned, chased those really fast fractions last time out, and I got the 4 Little Dude. Race number 5, 3 deep once again with the 5 Friendly Fella, the 4 Tamer, and the number 2 January 1. And I was able to use 3 in those races because I do have a single today. I'm going to try and beat the probable favorite, the 6 Outshine, with Richard the Great. Got some good stats. I'm going to show you a video of his. The last time he tried 7 on the main track was very impressive, albeit it was on an off track. And then 4, 5, 7 in race number 7 with Sunset Empire, Uncaptured Ruby, and She's All Woman. And in race number 8, once again, with the same numbers actually, with Grand Union, Took a Cab, and Who Is Jarrett. So $48.60, and it's all about my single in race number 6 this afternoon. We'll see if we can get that Richard the Great home on top. Gives me a lot more coverage for $48.60, and that's a pretty nice ticket with 200 grand up for grabs. So with that said, let's take a look at this turf race. 1 mile and 1/16th, as I mentioned. Claim is 3 and up. 10 grand is the claiming price. And as I mentioned, I did have Pango on top. That horse will run another day for Ron Spatz. So I'm going to use the number 9. The Mighty Judge is making his local return for Jane Sabelli off his $12,000 claiming victory, going a mile on the Mama Turf. You're getting Paco Lopez in the saddle. And I just thought after that performance, and Jane does a really good job with horses shipping in from up in the Sunshine, up in New Jersey, and coming down here runs good for the number 9, the Mighty Judge. Now the number 8, Rule Yourself, now in the Carlos David barn. This gelded son of Giants Causeway drops to the 10 level today after finishing fourth and being placed third. That was that restricted allowance race while in the Lacey Gaudet Bond up at Laurel. There's a concern about this horse, 0 for 12 at the distance, 12 starts, 3 seconds, 2/3. But I want to show you a stat on Carlos David. Has just been doing an excellent job. He first after a trainer switch with this horse is doing today. All surfaces, he's 5 for 15. 28%, 50% the money, and a nice return of investment of $5.47. So the barn has just been going great guns. So that is Rule Yourself with the good stat. And then I also used the 6 Cash Call Kitten, who's turning back to the mile in the 16th distance after breaking from an outside post. That was post 11 and finishing a rallying second. That was against Similar, was going 9 furlongs last time out. Joe Orsino's got Victor LeBron atop this previous winner at the 8.5 furlongs. So a horse that's been running good on the turf. We'll see if that horse can turn the tables on the mighty Judge and Rule Yourself first for Carlos David. Race 4, we're back on the fast main track this afternoon, and this one is 5 1/2 furlongs. These are maiden claiming 2-year-olds, $25,000 down to $20,000. No scratches or jockey changes to let you know about in this race. The inside horse is number 1, Awesome Beach, who's going to turn back to 5 1/2 furlongs today and going to take the blinkers off after setting the pace in weakening to finish third. That was against $25,000 maidens, and that race was moved from the turf to 7 furlongs on the main track. So let's show you a stat on trainer Ralph Nix with his 2-year-olds taking blinkers off in sprints on the dirt. Big sampling. You wouldn't think he did it this many times. 45 for 200, but a really positive percentage of 23%, 55% the money. 185 is the return of investment. So Awesome Beach is a logical contender in here, going to take the blinkers off, throttle down that keen early interest. The number 2, Emmett, has his claiming tag sliced in half and wears blinkers. He pressed fractions. Look at those fractions last time out. This one really was going fast. He was, those fractions were 21 and 3, 44 and 2, and faded with against those $50,000 maidens going 7 furlongs last time out. He's a son of violence. I think he's going to benefit both from the drop down and the turn back. He was chasing those really swift fractions, as I mentioned, of 21 and 3 and 44 and 2. And then the number 4, Little Dude, who's returning to the $25,000 level after following his second place finish at this same level and distance in the slop. He goes back and he chases the winner next time out against those $32,000 maidens, which was also contested at 5 1/2 furlongs on that sloppy track that afternoon. So I'm just thinking this horse getting back to a fast track at the $25,000 level. Little Dude might rebound. So Awesome Beach, Emmett, who's chased those fast fractions in number 4, Little Dude in race number 4. Flipping the page, going to race number 5. It's a mile and 70 yards. These are claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 3 in life. 12.5 down to $10,500. And I used the 5, Friendly Fella, who's a consistent son of Hear No Evil. He's 8 for 10 in the money in his career. He's going to stretch out to the mile and 70 yards today after drawing clear to defeat 12.5, 2 lifetime claimers going 7. It was on that sealed, sloppy track. The trainer was Kathleen O'Connell, and you got Miguel Vasquez atop this 4-year-old. 4-year-old is one going long on the turf, so maybe he can translate going long on the turf to running well on the main track at this mile and 70 yards. Just like this consistency. When you see that at these non-winners of 3 level, something like that, you want to pay attention to number 5, Friendly Fellow, horses like that show that consistency, even though they're bottom level claimers. Before Tamer, who broke his maiden going a 1-turn mile at Gulfstream, is stretching out today around the 2 turns after closing to finish third. That was against this same level, going 6 1/2 furlongs last time out. Trainer Jeff Engler, Victor LeBron handling the added distance this afternoon. So handled that 1-turn mile across down at Gulfstream Park. Maybe he handles the 2-turn mile in the 70-yard distance here today. The number 2, January 1, who defeated 6,252 lifetime claimers. That was going a two-turn mile here, albeit on that muddy track that afternoon, is stretching out again after breaking from a tough post, broke from post 12 last time out, finished fifth when facing the same caliber of competition, going 7. That was on that wet track that afternoon. So this one's a proven commodity, racing around two turns, and I think that's going to be important with these non-winners of 3 types. Who's going to handle the distance? Friendly Fella, the 5 is a little bit of a guess along with Tamer, but January 1 has proven it can win going around 2 turns. Now, flipping the page, here's where my single comes in the Rainbow Six, and it's a 7-furlong claiming event, 3 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life or race since May 18th. They run for $25,000. And number 2, Richard the Great, as I alluded to earlier, he crushed the competition. Last time he faced claimers going 7 furlongs on the main track. I want to go back and show you that performance. Now, this was a while back. This was September 2019, and it was on an off track, but he just was so impressive in that race, and he just came, he was just totally in charge. And what I found interesting in it, the horse that he beat that day was a Kanani, and Kanani came back to win the Classic Preview on Saturday. So it's been a while back. I just wanted to show you this performance, going 7 furlongs, and he was just so impressive, this horse. So you say, well, it's a long layup. He hasn't been around. So let's look at a stat for trainer Juan Alvarado just over the last couple of years with horses returning from a layoff of 180 days or more, sprints on the dirt. He's 3 for 11, 27%. He's in the money 36% of the time, and he's got a whopping return of investment of $10.23. And that's just over the last couple of years as he's been training for Arundel. So we used a 2-year distance on his stat. The horse that I'm afraid of in here, and I think everybody's going to have a serious interest in, is the number 6, and it is Outshine. And Outshine returns from the layoff and is back at a competitive level, I believe, in the first start since following his $20,000 3-lifetime victory on the grass, comes back, runs fourth against 62,500 optional claimers. That was going a mile at Gulfstream on the main track during July, but it's Safi Joseph Jr. He's got Edgar Zayas handling the return to action this afternoon, so it just looks like a good spot, a dated claimer. It's going to be really strong in here, Outshine. I'm keying off Richard the Great because I just like the way he ran at 7 furlongs. And then the number 7, Apache, is probably the now horse now. He's going to get tested for class after a pair of impressive local victories, which includes that 10-length maiden victory against the $10,000 maidens. And he comes right back and he beats Open 25, 2 lifetime claimers in pretty good fashion. You're getting Paco Lopez in the saddle today. So a horse I like to call the now horse. He's done nothing but run exceptionally well in his last 2 races. So Richard the Great is going to have to be great to beat both Outshine and Apache. But that's the way I saw it. Maybe you find a couple other horses you want to use on your Rainbow Six instead of singling like me, but that's why I was able to get it down to 48.60, something I can afford today. Race 7, the first half of the late daily double. We're going to go 6 furlongs. It's an allowance optional claimer for state bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They can run for that optional claiming price of $16,000. And I went with the 4 in here, and that's Sunset Empire, who's stepping up and stretching out the 7 furlongs again. He'll go with that, it's a good distance here of 6 furlongs. I followed her claiming victory going this distance against 12.5. Scores going 5 furlongs. That race moved from turf to dirt for Kent Sweezy. Sammy Camacho going for 3 in a row on this horse this afternoon. So Sunset Empire on top of my ticket. Number 5, Uncaptured Lady, is making her Gulfstream West debut today for trainer Kelly Breen after posting back-to-back sprint victories against open competition up at Monmouth. She's back against Florida Breds today, and again, Edgar Zayas in the saddle. Looks like a major player for the number 5, Uncaptured Ruby. She's all woman. I just think this horse is going to stretch out after using her tactical speed to defeat those 25 condition claimers at the favorite, going this a 6 furlong distance. Trainer Bob Hess Jr. has got Christian Torres. That's the morning line favorite in there, but I'm going to try and upset it a little bit with Sunset Sunset Empire, Uncaptured Ruby, and as I mentioned, the morning line favorite, the number 7, She's All Woman. We're back on the turf for race number 8, and it's a 5-furlong sprint on the turf for maiden claimers 3 and up. 12.5 down to $10,500. I started it off in here with the number 4, Grand Union, who I believe is stationed to have a good performance, going 5 furlongs on the turf after following a pair of okay outings sprinting on the Gulfstream Park grass with a trouble starting. She got banged at the gate last time out, and the last place finish, that race was moved from the lawn to 7 furlongs on the sealed sloppy track. I'm going to key off those performances, those grass performances at the Gulfstream Park for trainer Juan Avila, and you got MSCL Jaramillo handling the surface change this afternoon. So Grand Union, maybe we get a little bit of a price. The number 5, Took a Cab, who made a nice move to be second the last time he sprinted on the grass, is going back to the turf this afternoon. So let's go back and show you that race back on September 4th. It was Gulfstream Park, and there you're going to see this horse here was the number 1 horse, and that's Took a Cab, and just going to run well, turns for home, sort of looking for room. But I like the way this horse split horses and came running. So it was a pretty good performance for trainer Dave Brady. You're getting Edgar Prado trying to get this gelding. Finished second in those 2 races, but I just thought off that performance, and there's not a lot of turf, breeding, more just horses that have run on the turf that much. So I thought off that performance, the number 5, Took a Cab, would be okay in there. Who is Jared is the number 7, and now in the Kathleen O'Connell barn. This is a $90,000 son of Metal Count. Drops after facing tougher on the turf before. Really an extended layoff. I think you watch the tote action on this horse to see if this horse can compete first time off the bench. But as I mentioned throughout this analysis, Kathleen having a real good fall meeting here at Gulfstream Park West. So we're back on the turf this afternoon. We got great racing, 8 races all a day long, and we have a $200,000 jackpot guarantee, which kicks off in race number 6. Good luck with all your selections. I'll be back in a little while to let you know how I see the first race this afternoon. Good luck, everybody.